This video is Ask Me Anything vlog number 2.
Are you listening?
So in this video, I'm answering questions from you, YouTube viewers, who have left comments. I did a video a while back called Ask Me Anything vlog number 1, where I answered questions that you guys had. It is sort of like an experiment. As a response, I received tons more questions, and of course I can't make a video with all of those questions, or we would have like a video that goes on for hours and hours. But I'm going to answer some of these questions here in this video. But if you have any questions for me that you want to be considered for another video, please go ahead and put those down below in the comments below. And not only will I try to respond to your comment, but it also could be the topic of Ask Me Anything vlog number 3. So go ahead and put your questions below if you have any questions for me. But that's what this video is all about. So if you are new to this channel, I do podcast interviews on this channel with some of the most compelling people I can find, including lottery winners. I actually am a lottery winner. A long time ago, way back in the day in 1999, I won the Powerball. It's one of the biggest, craziest, life-changing things that's ever happened to me before going back to college to study film and broadcast news. And I'm combining my experience with my desire to launch this YouTube channel and produce this podcast whereby I'm interviewing other people that I find fascinating, including other lottery winners. That's one type of guest that I am interviewing because I find it very interesting to know how their experience compares or differs from my own. So if you want to see any of those interviews or future vlogs on this channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified when they come out. But this video is Ask Me Anything vlog number 2. So let's get to it. So the first question here comes from GrayFox313. He asks, when someone wins the lottery, do they get some of the money up front, like $1 million on the day that they claim the ticket? And also, did you claim winnings in person at a headquarters, and how was that? So, GrayFox313, thank you so much for your questions. I really, really appreciate it. Now, if you happen to win lottery jackpot, of course, so different games have different rules, different prizes have different rules as well. So if you win $1,000, it could be quite different than if you win millions of dollars. And it could vary depending on which game you play, which country you live in, and so forth. So I would look into the rules wherever you are. But in general, I would say when you win the lottery, say you win millions of dollars, you can't go in and get like a cool million off the top until the rest comes in. That's not how it works. You go into the lottery headquarters and you turn in your ticket, they verify it, and then there's a waiting period. There's a waiting period before any funds are actually given to you. It's up to right around 2 weeks, I believe, for a lot of games here in the United States anyway. So you have to be patient, but it is worth the wait. And I can almost guarantee you, if you win millions of dollars, no matter what your debts are or anything else, if they know that you have that money coming, probably you're going to be okay to wait a couple weeks. Then you asked about my experience going to the headquarters. So when I did that way back in the day, it was, it was exciting, but I was also kind of nervous. Where I lived, there was no option to remain anonymous. And so I chose to participate in a press conference. Basically, I went into the headquarters, you turn in the ticket, they validate the ticket, and then what they did was they scheduled a press conference. And, I did sort of feel like a deer in headlights because at the time I wasn't used to media exposure. I'd been on the news a few times, but I'd never, of course, held my own press conference, let alone been the front page news for newspapers or anything else. It was very foreign to me, and I was very nervous. I was very camera shy at the time. I've since grown to enjoy that type of thing, but at the time, I was sort of like a deer in the headlights. But that's how it was for me. I was still very grateful that I won, of course. It was exhilarating and, surreal, to be honest. It was very, very surreal. So let's get to the next question here from Manifest Yourself. Manifest Yourself asks, can you make a video or comment back on your average day after the dream leading up to your win? Were you feeling happy or neutral? What were you feeling? So Manifest Yourself, thank you so much for your questions. For people that are new to this channel, you might not know that I had a vivid dream about winning the lottery a few months before I won the lottery. I strongly believed that it was going to happen, and so I talk about this fairly often on this channel because I find this topic, this subject, very, very interesting, of the subconscious mind and dreaming about something before it happens, or that sort of thing fascinates me. And I'm not claiming all of the answers with my own dream. I've made a couple videos about my own dream and my own experience. I'll put links to those below. But for me, in the months leading up to the win after the dream, in general, I was pretty happy. I was happy. I mean, I wasn't rich by any means. I was working 40 to 60 hours a week at a gas station, just trying to put myself through college and just trying to get by. I played the lottery more consistently after having this dream. And, if I didn't win, which I didn't most of the time when I played, I was disappointed, but I wasn't devastated. I just believed that it was going to happen eventually. And so some people think that that was just a coincidence that I had the dream and then it happened. And a lot of people think that it's not. So that's how I was most days. I was very content, other than the fact that, I worked 40 to 60 hours a week. I was very driven financially, even though I wasn't making a lot. The reason I worked any hour over 40 hours is because it was overtime, and therefore you got paid more. And so I was motivated by that, but I wasn't wealthy by any means. So manifest yourself. Hopefully this answers your question. Thank you so much. The next question here comes from Sent Crazy, who asks, I would like to know how hard it was to vet attorneys, financial advisors, and accountants. People say that you are supposed to hire when you win the lottery, these experts. How hard was it to vet these people? That's what Sent Crazy is asking. And for myself, way back in the day, I went with people that we trusted, because trust, hence your question, trust is a big factor if you win a major prize. It's a big factor. How do you trust someone to help you deal with this money if you're not used to dealing with this kind of money? How do you trust someone? So for me, we went with family, friends, attorneys, experts that were already working in the field that we trusted because they were friends of the family. I have no regrets about anything that happened. No regrets. Absolutely not. But I can say that from what I've learned now, in retrospect, I think that you should heavily vet the people that you hire if you win a major jackpot, or even if you don't, if you hire someone, an attorney or anything else, you should vet these people. You should see what is their experience, what is their track record. Do they have a successful track record dealing with the kind of money or the kind of assets that you are now going to be dealing with if you win the lottery? And also make sure that they are a fiduciary, meaning that they have to legally act in your best interest. And I do think if you win a major prize, you have options. It's not going to be very hard to find many qualified accountants or many qualified attorneys that want to help you. Most likely it's not going to be very hard to do that, because most likely if you're dealing with that sort of money, there are a lot of qualified people out there that want to help because they need clients that are of your financial status. So I would say take your time and do vet these people. I'm actually going to be producing a video soon about who you should contact if you win the lottery jackpot. So watch for that video soon, but hopefully that answers your question. Sent Crazy, thank you so much. So the next question comes from Iram Blessed. If I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, I apologize, but thank you so much for your questions. Iram Blessed, who asks, how was your life 1 year after the lottery, and was it hard to say no to loved ones who asked for money? So 1 year after winning the lottery, I can take myself back mentally. I think that I still felt very, very grateful, of course, that for the win. It was life-changing. But at that point, I had to leave, or I felt anyway that I should leave where I lived. And so I moved to a different place, away from almost all of my family and friends. And so I felt very lonely and isolated, to be honest, because even the people that I was connected to, none of them were even remotely in the same place financially. I was 21 years old, so that's another factor because I just didn't know. Most of my friends were going to college. I didn't know people that were even remotely close to that place financially. So it was just, I felt very isolated and lonely. And I did have relatives. So let me back up. First of all, most of my family and friends did not ask me for money, but some of them did. And I helped people after I won. I helped a lot of people. I did in very big ways for what I felt that I could do. And there was a means. I understood even back then that I had a means. I couldn't just spend, get whatever I want, or I'll be broke, because that's the way it is. Whether you have 1 million, 5 million, 20 million, 100 million, you can go broke if you don't spend within a means. So that's very, very true. So I had that in mind a long time ago, and I'm not saying that I've been perfect with the money, but that's one thing that I had in mind. I knew I couldn't just give and give and give. But so back to your question, I helped some people financially that I loved and cared about, and some of the closest relationships to me were ruined from people, relatives. I had a couple relatives that basically did ask me for money. I helped them out initially without them asking, and then they just kept asking and asking and asking, and I had to eventually put my foot down. And this is right around 1 year, I would say, maybe a little more, but I had to say, no, I'm not going to help you anymore, because you can only do so much. And what I learned from that is that I should have just put a line in the sand initially instead of just giving and leaving it open-ended, because in their mind it was open-ended. And if they were terrible with money before I won the lottery, they're still going to be terrible with money. So that's the way it is. And there's not the same level of respect with some people if you win a prize. Like they looked at it, at least one of my relatives told me bluntly that, you got that for nothing, therefore you should just go ahead and help me out more because you got it for doing nothing. And basically our relationship was ruined. But if I helped people like that out to the extent that they want me to, then I wouldn't have anything left rather quickly. So I understood that back then. But it was very hard. And yes, I did feel guilty until I learned how to deal with that sort of thing, because I learned that it's not my responsibility to help out everyone else in the world. I can't save everyone else in the world financially, not even all the people that I love and care about, nor is it my responsibility morally or anything else. And so other people are responsible for other people. That doesn't mean it's wrong to help others. I think it can be very positive. I've done a lot of positive things to help others. I just realized that there's an extent to which you can do that. Really, whether you have 500 million or whether you have 5 million or whether you have 1 million or whether you have 500,000, it varies. Your level of wealth for what you can do really varies. But there is a means if you want to be financially responsible. There really is. And as I said, I haven't been perfect with money, but I know enough to know that that is the truth. So hopefully that answers your question, Aaron Blessed. Thank you very much. So the last question here I'm going to get to in this particular video is from V. Gardner, who asks, is there something that most winners have in common to increase their luck, or is it pretty much just being at the right place at the right time? So V. Gardner, thank you very much for your question. This is a really interesting question because I have met quite a few lottery winners, and obviously I am one, but I have met quite a few lottery winners, and I can say that some lottery winners think that they won because of God. Some lottery winners think that they won because it was fate. Some lottery winners think they brought the energy to them, and other lottery winners think it's just the right place at the right time. So, it really varies across the board. But if I have to say that there's one thing that a lot of lottery winners have in common, that most lottery winners have in common that I've met, it's that most of them thought that they would have a chance. Because you do if you play. You absolutely have a chance. And most of the ones I've interviewed also believed that something big was going to happen, whether they hit the lottery jackpot or not. They believed that something was going to happen. Not all of them thought that, though, so it really varies all over the board. But I can say that almost every lottery winner I know believed that they at least had a chance. Otherwise, they wouldn't have played. So that's one thing that most have in common. And I would say that there is this thread of winners out there that really thought that they were going to win before it happened for one reason or another, or at least that something was going to happen, something big that they felt was coming to them. So, but that's not the case for everybody, so it really, really varies. But thank you so much for your question. But the truth is, you have a chance. I don't really believe in odds, and I made a video about why. I'll put a link to that video below, because you do have a chance if you play. That is the absolute truth. I say to have fun with it, never spend more than you can afford to lose, but also have fun with it, and most importantly, know that you do indeed absolutely have a chance if you play, because that is the truth. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button and let me know in the comments if you have any questions for me. That comment could be addressed in a future Ask Me Anything vlog video. Ask Me Anything vlog number 3. It could be your comment, who knows. But don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to see more vlogs like this one, as well as interviews on this YouTube channel. But thank you so much. I really appreciate all of your comments. I appreciate everyone's support. Thank you for watching.